In this module, we are going to talk about the various energy systems in our body. And we'll start with the chakra system. And so the chakra system is an elegant model. It's from the Hindu philosophy, which combines, it's a model for biology, which is our physical body, psychology, which is our emotional and mental body, and quantum physics, which is our spiritual body. And chakras are metaphysical energy centers which affect our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. And there are many chakras in our body, in and around our body, especially in our body, but we will concern ourselves with the 7 main chakras that are aligned in energetically. If you cut ourselves open, we will not see the chakras, of course, on our spine, and every hormonal junction, there is a chakra. There are 7 of them vibrating at a different frequency, and thus they govern specific areas of our life. And we'll understand more about these chakras. So if you think this is an ancient Hindu philosophy from 5,000 years ago, you would be surprised that the same chakra system, even though the modern medical community does not call it by that name, they recognize and honor it by the caduceus symbol of health in modern medicine. And that is in more physical medicine is about the body. And even Maslow's pyramid of self-actualization talks about our needs, our emotional needs, a human's needs. There are several layers of need. First, you have the safety and physiological needs of food, water, shelter, safety to be protected against attack, love and belonging. Only after your physical needs are met will you look for safety needs. Only after your safety needs are met will you look for love and belonging to a group or community. Only when your love and belonging needs are met, you will look for self-esteem. And when your self-esteem has been met, the needs for self-esteem, honor and respect, will you look for self-actualization, which is our spiritual need, the need to understand that we are infinite beings with infinite power and infinite possibilities. So this is a quick picture of the chakra system. Basically, at the root of our spine is the first chakra, which is called Mooladhara, and it deals with survival. So if you are operating from this center, it will be blocked by fear. Every time you experience fear, this chakra of yours is going to be blocked, the first chakra, and it deals with your parents, your money, and your belonging in your community. So as you can well imagine, if energy is not flowing well in this chakra, you will be having issues with survival and fear. The second one, which is along the reproductive organs, is called the Swadhisthana. It deals with pleasure, our joy, our ability to enjoy and have pleasures in life, and it is blocked by guilt. So if this is imbalanced, you're feeling guilty, you won't be able to enjoy life. The third one, which is behind the belly button, deals with willpower. And this is blocked by shame. So if you are feeling ashamed for some of your activities or something that you did not live up to, you will not be able to summon willpower, be empowered, and have determination, set goals, and reach it. Then the fourth one is our heart center. This deals with love and is blocked by grief. If you have been not being able to process grief, you won't be able to attract love, unconditional love into your life. And grief is not just by the death of a person. When you're badly treated and have not experienced love, that is a kind of grief too. The fifth one is in the throat center. This deals with truth and is blocked by lies. When you have been told lies and you have been punished for telling the truth, this chakra, the fifth chakra called Vishuddhi, is blocked. And then you will attract people who lie to you or don't tell you the whole truth. Then comes the sixth chakra, which is called the Agya chakra. Agya means command. Command what? Command energy to become matter. Remember, E equals mc squared, and we are essentially spiritual beings having a material experience. So once we connect with this Agya chakra, this deals with insight, intuition, and it is blocked by illusion. Illusion is what? What I'm seeing is what I have to believe. But you have to flip it around. What I believe is what I see. So that tapping into your intuition, inspiration, and intuition. And then finally is the crown chakra. Finally is the crown chakra on top of the seventh one, which deals with cosmic energy, your connection to the universe. And it is blocked by ego attachment. And what is ego attachment? Ego is edged God out, and God is unity consciousness, your interconnectedness to everything and everybody. So now you can see that if your chakra energy, your chakras are imbalanced, how you will be attracting people based on which energy center you're leaking power. So these chakras basically are 7 filters for magnetizing or repelling people. So if you're leaking from chakra 1, you will be attracting a certain kind of people, and 2 and 3 and 4 similarly. These 7 filters are, the first one at the base of your spine is Mooladhara, which requires grounding. And it will affect your security and stability. If you are imbalanced in your second chakra, reproductive chakra, your creative thinking will be blocked and you will not be able to enjoy and have pleasures in life. If your third chakra, which is behind your Manipura, is blocked, you won't be able to have the ability to problem solve. Your power and determination will be weakened. If your Anahata is imbalanced, your heart center, it will affect your interpersonal relationships, the concept of love and connection, unconditional love and forgiveness. You won't be able to give and love or forgiveness, or receive love and forgiveness. If your fifth chakra is violated or is leaking, then effective communication, self-expression. You're so scared, you won't be able to express and communicate your needs. Or even be able to hear what the other people are able to communicate, because you're blocked. Your ability to express and receive information is blocked. If your Agya chakra, the sixth center, the third eye as it's called, Agya is command, if that is blocked, you're just relying on logic, you are cut off from intuition, intuitive awareness. And when you are living only with your 5 senses, you are in a survival mode. To be able to go to thrive is to be able to live from inspiration, in spirit. And the 7th one is the Sahasrara, which is the bliss consciousness. When you know that you're connected to everything and everyone, and you are an infinite being with infinite powers and infinite possibilities, that is called bliss. So we have to understand in our energy signature, where are we operating from? Which of these filters we are operating from? Accordingly, we are attracting or repelling people at that level. So we have to also understand the correlation when I said medicine, psychology, and also we'll bring in Ayurveda. Ayurveda is the Indian, the Vedic system of it's called the knowledge of life. And Ayurveda, which is in the ancient times, it was the science of life, also says one thing, believes one thing, which modern medicine is just beginning to understand and do research, that your biography becomes your biology. What is your biography? Your story. Remember Woundology, my poor me. Depending on what story you have built around you, who you are and what you want, it will affect your body, and that thus establish the mind-body connection. That's what Ayurveda, from the Vedic system, that's what it has been saying for the last 5,000 years. And according to Ayurveda, each of us, not just human beings, but everything in this world is made up of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. And depending on the permutation and combination of these elements, Ayurveda says people are categorized into 3 major systems. You are either air dominant, fire dominant, or water dominant. Sorry, earth dominant. Kapha is earth dominant. And there are sub classifications. The combinations of these also create other kinds of personalities. And if you, that is the information that was given to us, handed down to humanity 5,000 years ago. But even father of modern medicine, Hippocrates, says that human beings have to be treated. One treatment cannot fix or cannot repair or cannot heal all kinds of human beings, because there are 4 kinds of human beings, 4 humors, he called it. Melancholic, which is earth dependent, who are more prone to being despondent, quiet, analytical, or serious. Phlegmatic, if the water element is more dominant in you, you will be the calm person, thoughtful person, patient person, or peaceful person. If you're choleric, which is a fire dominant, you'll be ambitious and have leadership qualities and a restlessness and prone to anger. And if you're a sanguine personality, humor if you have, then air dominant personality, you'll be courageous, helpful, playful, and carefree. So you would ask me, what is the point? Why do we need to know this? Understanding that nobody, it's not one size fits all. Everybody's personality is different. And just because you are a air dominant or fire dominant or water dominant personality, do not expect that all the people in your life will be the same. So the air dominant personality has certain way of thinking, behaving, acting, and believing that will not be corroborated by the other two personalities or other many personality types. So then you understand that once you understand your personality, you will be able to understand somebody else in your life has a different personality and give them permission to be who they are, as long as you learn to give yourself the permission. You have to spend time understanding what is your what element is dominant in you, and accordingly understand your personality. And here is a picture. This is the modern caduceus. Any doctor's office you go, or doctor, when they graduate, they are given this caduceus, it's called. And this is a same thing as the chakra we were talking about. See, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chakras, and there are 2 energies. And we'll talk more about it, a material energy and a spiritual energy, combining to create your reality. And ultimately, this is your connection to the collective unconscious or the universe or God, or field of possibilities. And this is a combination of the caduceus and the chakra system. So I just wanted to give you an idea of, this is not some random mumbo jumbo. What was talked about 5,000 years ago by ancients people has been corroborated by modern medicine. So now we'll talk about the Panchakosha that I mentioned in the beginning, that we are not just this mind and body. That is a very simplistic understanding of our identity. We are actually made up of 5 identities. First, we have it's called the Annamaya Kosha, meaning the physical body, which is responds to heat and cold. It is created by the food we eat. And that's why it is very important, the kind of food you eat will also determine your energetic signature. So second one is Pranamaya Kosha. Prana, as you know, is the life force energy. And this is your energy body. This determines your pleasure and pain. Then you have the Manomaya Kosha, your mental body, good and bad. That Manomaya is the thoughts, the feelings that are your constant, regular thoughts that are coming to your mind. And then is your Vijnanamaya Kosha. It's your intellectual body, where it is the discriminative capacity, good and bad, right and wrong. And this is your ego body, that you are different from everybody else. And then finally comes your Anandamaya Kosha. Ananda means bliss body. And if you are disconnected from that, if you are not cognizant of your bliss body, you feel separated from unity consciousness. Now, why do you need to know this? Because we have this, whenever something goes wrong in our life, we have this ability to catastrophize and say our whole life is coming crashing around us, not understanding that there is a problem in one of these identities or bodies. The rest of them are available to help you heal. So if you're having a problem in your physical body, you think, whether it is a incurable disease or anything, you think that's the end of you. You don't realize that you have 4 more bodies who can actually help you, which can actually help you recover from that. If you're having a problem with your energy body, you can use your mental body to cure that. If you're having a problem with the thoughts, the negative thoughts, you can use your intellectual body to fix it. And if you're having problem with your intellectual body, not knowing what is right and wrong, you have to tap into your spiritual body, your bliss body. So using this analogy to understand, where is my problem? My whole life is not a mess. My whole life is not falling apart. Where analyzing which my physical body is having problem, my energy body is having problem, my mental body is having problem, which of these, and accordingly taking care of it or taking steps to fix it. So I just want to also tell you that, showing you that these are very ancient ways of dealing with energetic signature, but modern medicine and modern research and science is catching up with it. If any of you have time, please read the book Healing Back Pain by Dr. Sarno, who is an orthopedic doctor in New York University of Medicine. And he discovered that he dealt with people with issues, injuries to the spine, and he discovered that people recovered from chronic pain without drugs and surgery. Actually, he had two groups of people, a control group and a regular group, and they had similar degeneration of the spine, but one group was experiencing a lot of pain, and the other group with the same spinal degeneration was not experiencing that pain. And that got him curious. Then he related the mind-body connection. Spine abnormalities do not necessarily cause pain. Imagine that, what a powerful discovery he made. Pain in our body is in response not only to injury, but to emotional distress. It's not to say that we will have no physical pain, but it is largely connected to emotional distress. And our mind creates this pain in order to distract ourselves from unacceptable emotions such as anxiety, fear, anger. When unaddressed or repressed, these emotions can easily be churned subconsciously throughout the body to emerge elsewhere as pain. We don't realize it. When we, if you have issues with your Muladhara chakra, your first chakra, you will have lower body pain. If you have issues with your Swadhisthana chakra, second chakra, you will not be able to either have babies or your creative capacities will be compromised. If your third chakra is in problem, if you're leaking power there, you won't be able to empower yourself, and so on and so forth. So understanding the mind body connection, when you realize what is the energetic signature that you are currently signing up for, or signaling to the world. So unconsciously, we would rather have physical pain. Believe it or not, we would rather have physical pain that acknowledge any kind of emotional turmoil. Even acne, allergies, migraines might be emotional. They are doing more research. Ayurveda had 5,000 years ago and continues to say that when you see symptoms in your physical body, it is the last stage. Whereas modern medicine says, oh, we caught this disease at an early stage, but as long as it's manifested itself in your physical body, it's gone through many, many layers of energy violation.